I'm gonna work on feeding Atlas treats from my hand. So I'm just gonna hold a treat in my gloved hand here, and then I'm just kind of adding the bowl in because he really didn't understand what it is that I wanted before when I was just standing up. So I'm adding in the bowl because he understands eating out of it. So I'm gonna let him kind of eat some grain out of the bowl and get used to the idea of that I'm close to him while he's eating and make sure he's cool with that. And then I'm gonna put the treat in my hand and see if he'll just kind of lip it out of there. So I do have on like a glove with padding on the front. I think it's for like working like construction kind of things and stuff. I don't know. It's my husband's glove, but they have extra stuff on there. So just in case he was mistaken on where the treat was, I'm not gonna get injured too much. So definitely recommend some sturdy gloves. So I'm just going to hold my hand out and put it on the top of and there we go. He had a pretty nice little treat. And so as soon as he took the treat out of my hand, I clicked to him and I'm going to throw him a couple more treats. So the whole idea is to show him in a way that he understands already. So he understands to eat out of the bowl, and then I'll reward him when he does eat out of my hand correctly. So I think he missed right there. I'm going to change the camera here in a second so you can see the angle. So he's still kind of eating around my hand. And there we go. He took a treat out of my hand, so I click him, and then I'm going to give him a few more treats. So that really helped with building his confidence versus the previous video where I was standing up trying to hand feed him a treat. He didn't really quite understand it even when I mixed it in with some hay. So this seemed to work a lot better for him. So I like that he's understanding it pretty well. He's not as bitey as some other horses. He does want to figure it out and kind of use his lips a little bit more, so that works. And I'm just kind of hold the treat in my hand. I'm keeping my hand really flat, and I'm just putting it right up against the bowl so he knows to search for the treat in the bowl, so then he can kind of search for the treat in my hand. So I'm just kind of adding the two things together, one thing that he knows and one thing that he doesn't, so that builds his confidence. So something scared him there, don't know what, but I'm just gonna keep on like nothing's wrong, because nothing is wrong. So not a big deal, nothing to freak out about. But by clicking and telling him every time he takes the treat nicely from my hand that he's gonna get more treats is just gonna increase that behavior, so it'll make him learning it a little bit easier. So like there, he took the treat really nice. He used his lips, he was nice and relaxed about it, so that looked pretty good. Let him eat his reward here. And then I do move on. I do have another video of him eating on my hand, standing up for the first time. So we kind of bridge the two lessons together and make sure you move on once he's confident. So I'm going to move to the next clip here. We can see a little bit better how he's taking the treat right there. And it's okay if he knocks it out of the hand. That's all right. I'm just using like these little treats from like Tractor Supply. They're like grain treats, so they already like the grain, so they understand it, like they like to eat it. Some horses are afraid of like the apple, so he ate it on my hand, so I clicked him and give him some grain. So I'm using really high value stuff. And some horses, especially some Mustangs, are a little finicky about eating new things, so like I didn't get the apple treats or the carrot treats from Tractor Supply, I just got the grain ones. But I do feel like eating something solid in one piece from your hand helps out in the beginning. So I don't think he would do super well with eating grain out of my hand in the beginning because there's so many little pieces. But here, see, you can just kind of like nose it out of my hand, and if he knocks it down, that's okay. Just try again. And there he goes. And I'll click him for that and feed him some grain. So just keep your hand really flat, really straight, so he can't like really get like his teeth into you if he went to go bite. And definitely you just don't want your fingers in the way. You don't want your fingers bent up because then they could get caught in there. Nice and flat, almost bending your fingers backwards so he has a nice flat surface to take it out of. And I kind of lay it down in the bottom of the bucket so he understands what he's supposed to do. So this was really nice, and it only took him a few minutes. Like this video is like 5 minutes long, and it went a little bit longer than this, but not much longer. So he probably figured out the whole thing in about 10 minutes. So that means it's working. So obviously in the first video, that method I was using was not working, but it's important to see. It might work with some horses, but it didn't work with Atlas and Castor. So it's just interesting to see the different kinds of things. So I had to kind of break this lesson down into a little bit more, actually just one more step, but I had to break it down a bit more until he understood it and then build that back up again. So it's just something interesting to see. Very nice. He took it very gently and really understood it. So it's just really interesting because now they both eat on my hands, and it's just cool to see the progression of this and how far they've come to just like so afraid to just eat a green treat out of my hand is kind of interesting. But that's the way I went about it. Nice and slow and easy, right from the bucket, so nothing crazy, just trying to bridge something he knows with something he doesn't. So, and there we go, perfect. Took it really nice out of his hand. I'm just gonna give him some grain as a little jackpot and end for this session.